You've for Lewin and for Franco in particular, I think that's probably the guys that you have to really feel for. Most of the other guys are professional enough and have been around enough, long enough to know how to get on with things and to prepare. For those two guys, it is disruptive for those guys because are they going to be available? Are they not going to be available? Are they going to have to miss a session here because they have a consultation or a hearing or an appeal or whatever the case may be? So for those guys in particular who desperately want to be selected and to play for the Springboks and really did their absolute best in not only how they conduct themselves this week but in the moments in question, they really did their absolute best, and it's probably just disruptive for them more so than the team.
Felix, for someone you've worked with a lot of teams, obviously you're Irish and now you're the Springbok. I read something, former Ireland hooker said, Bernard Jackman said, the Springbok team is 15 points better than any team in the world, and they've got a monster mentality. What makes the Springbok team so special? As an outsider coming in, what's your experience been?
No, that's nice words from Bernard, but obviously, we often say it that there's every week, and whether we come off the back of a win or a loss and or a good performance or a poor performance, there's people on the outside that will say something. Sometimes it's complimentary like that, and sometimes it mightn't be as nice, and we always try to stay in what we say is our reality, and we try to stay, keep that as close to the truth as we possibly can, and we do that through being honest with each other and trying to not get too far ahead of ourselves and not get too low either when things don't go our way. Your second question, what it's like to be in this team, you can't really describe it. Words don't really do it justice. This last 2 weeks has probably been a really good example of how tight the team is, particularly in adversity when there's yellow cards, red cards, and if you could what nobody can really see is what's happening at half-time or down on the bench, and the guys who aren't even involved, who are surely disappointed that they're not getting to play in the Stade de France or play against in an amazing stadium like the Juventus Stadium against a really strong Italian team, and how they were helping their fellow teammates and guys who they're competing with to want to play in that position, how they are the people coming up with the plans at half time to try and find solutions for us, and it's not there's no fakeness in it, it's real. So that's probably the specialness, if that's the word, but you can't really describe it.
Yeah, I got it. That's okay. Stick with you, Felix. Sam Pendergast is obviously an amazing talent, but he's copped a lot of criticism maybe for not being as physical in the number 10 channel. When you look at the overall balance of that Ireland backline and you look at the ability that he has, is there a potential weakness there for you guys to target with your big hard-running forwards?
Firstly, I think on Sam Pendergast, I think he's an unbelievable player. I think his decision making and pass selection is the management of his foot speed and how he draws defenders out and how he brings the entire team into a game is incredible. And I think also his story coming from, or probably for the South African media, knowing that he hasn't come from this top end rugby school. He's had to come through a probably not an as well known path, and I think he's an incredible player. I think all fly halves nowadays have big men running down their channels, and that's at European level, URC level, international level, of course. And obviously, the further up you go, sometimes the bigger the men or the more dynamic and the more powerful the players that you're playing against are. So Sam is still obviously very young, and he's. I don't mean that. I think he's in his playing age. I think he's well above his years, but his athletic development I think will also start to improve as years go by. So I wouldn't be sitting here to criticise, but I think he's a very dangerous player, and he's integral to that team and makes that team tick, and is one of the reasons they've been up there at the moment.
Yeah, that's okay. Siya, obviously the last 2 weeks South Africa has had fantastic wins against France and Italy. Unfortunately, there's been a red card that's occurred in both games. The Springboks, like you said earlier, pride themselves on their physicality and just being uninhibited when they enter those tackles. Given what's happened in the last 2 weeks, do you feel like the players are now thinking psychologically they have to overthink the tackle, or they might have to hold back, or how are you able to lean into those wonderful South African attributes of aggression and attacking defence, given what's happened the past 2 weeks?
No, we definitely not gonna. Nothing's gonna change. Our mentality is the same. We work really hard on our level change, and it's who we are. We can't go away from it, and it's a skill that we train and we practice, and like Felix said, the guys did the best they could in both of those situations, and we saw it, and we can't be in a place where we're in two minds. With clarity, then you can be aggressive in what you do. We work really hard on level change and training, and we do it from our unions. Before we even get to camps, Felix and everybody, they send us our tackles and everything. So it's something that we're confident in because we work hard in it. So, and that gives us the clarity and the confidence to go out there and be as physical as we can. Rugby is a physical sport, and nothing's going to change. We're just going to keep on being who we are.
Why is it so difficult to win in Dublin? The Springboks in recent history have struggled here. In the old days, they used to come and regularly get a win at the old Lansdowne Road. But why is it that this venue and this generation has been so hard to beat?
Because, like Felix said, the foundations that they've laid, they've changed, and they also became more. They've got the skills and everything. They're also on the ground, on the physical side. They've also stepped up a lot, and I think they like Felix said, they've been number 1 and 2 for a long time in the world. They've been doing it. They've won the Six Nations and everything. So they've improved a lot as a team, and and also when we came and played, I think a couple of years back here, we didn't take opportunities when we had them, and they only had a few that game, and they took them. So I think that's really important. We're looking forward to tomorrow, and hopefully we can take opportunities better this time.
Any further questions?
One more, if you don't mind. There's 3 South African players this year have been nominated for World Rugby Player of the Year. Just a word on what makes Ox, Malcolm, and Peter Sef so special.
Petey, I think his consistency has been amazing. He's a player that every single time he puts on the jersey, he always gives the same, and he always there for the team. He gives everything he can, and I think you can see, I think he's had 3 nominations, and I think he's won it twice already. And Ox has been amazing. Every time he's had an opportunity in this team, and you can see he's also taken a place of leadership in the team as well. He's grown so much, and he makes a huge difference in our side. It's always special to have him in the team. And Malcolm has been amazing for so many years. I think, he's one special human being, and what he's done for us this year, and how deep he has to go into games, and he's been consistent every single year. They all deserve it, and obviously Ethan Hooker as well for the breakthrough. I mean, I saw Ethan when he was playing in the under 20s at the Sharks. He was the captain. I saw him there already, how special he is, and then how humble he is, and how hard he works. I think Felix, the coaches speak to us throughout the URC, as he says, what makes us special is that he can be honest. He tells me straight, like, Siya, the game that you played for the Sharks, that's not the standard that you are seen in. And he, and he encourages. And he's like, look at the work that Ethan is doing, and to see him grow, because we have roadmaps, and you see his roadmap, and he's just continuously improving, and he's always working hard. I think, we are proud of all of them. We always put our own personal goals at the door when we walk in the team, and we put the team first, and we always know when you walk out, your own personal goals will always come through when the team is successful.
Felix, it's even difficult to pick a team to play this weekend. I know Andre was a little bit injured, but he probably wasn't in the picture. But specifically, Kainan being picked above Ethan, what was the discussions around those type of selections?
Yeah, well, it's always difficult to select, and it's never actually a selection of someone above someone. I know Rassi said it many times, we really don't see it like that, which I think is still, even though we say it so many times, it's we're looking to rotate our team because we want to make sure we have the right balance and the right, when I say balance, the right balance of play, the right balance of energy going into each test match, and where we want to get solutions and answers to questions that we have going forward. And I think the players, you can only just credit all of them in the way that they accept it. Obviously there's disappointment because everyone wants to play in every test match, but I think this is our 13th or 14th game this season, and it's impossible for players to just keep playing every single week in, week out at this level and not have some dip in that energy or a dip in that balance that I mentioned there. So I think it's been a really good year for that, and the three guys that Siya mentioned there getting those nominations is amazing for them. But I think there's also a lot of guys behind those guys that have helped Malcolm over the years, and let's say a Bongi or a Johan Grobler now, or a Marnus van der Merwe, who have all also been pushing and helping, or you could say it with Bowen or Thomas de Toy or Frankie Mostart. There's all these guys that are pushing Peter and pushing Ox and Malcolm. So I think yes, those guys getting massive credit for being nominated. It's incredible, and Ethan obviously as well. But I think there's also credit due to the guys behind who accept when they are selected or not selected. And we really don't see it as picking someone ahead of another person. We see it as being the right balance for us to win this test match.
Awesome. Everyone happy? Thank you. Thank you very much.
See you, man.